There are some times that leadership might seem tough. There are times that you will set goals and you won't achieve them. There are times that you'll be frustrated by the results that even come. And yes, I had those moments. But one big habit that kept me running and consistent was
Stephen Ayeni is a distinguished biochemistry graduate of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, where he finished among the top 1% of his class.
when I was in 100 level to 300 level now, I never knew that it is even possible to train yourself in the area of leadership. I never knew that leadership can actually be learned. I thought that being in FUTA is just academics. I never knew that you could, as a person, make a decision to train yourself as a leader. I believe that self-leadership has to do with you making decisions, life-changing decisions.
What advice would you say you want to give to somebody that is aspiring to become the top student in his or her department? Thank you so much for that response.
Leadership has three aspects: planning, coordinating, and overseeing. You should be able to plan well, you should be able to coordinate, and you should be able to oversee. If you're a leader and you discover that you're having issues with your academics, you need to know that leadership can never be the reason why your academics is struggling. But if peradventure you are noticing that it is taking your time, then you have to.
Welcome to Beyond Pointers podcast, Leaders Unfiltered Stories. Here we learn about leadership through storytelling. I'm so excited to be here again, and I believe you're excited to listen to this episode. I have with me here a very profound leader, and his name is Ayeni Stephen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Olakunle.
All right, so as we start, God starts with us, and his name is glorified in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so before we proceed, I just want us to go now and click on the subscribe button to subscribe to this platform, all right, so that you can get information firsthand once we upload videos to the platform. All right, thank you so much. All right, so moving on to the session in details. All right, so the first question I would like to ask you is, can you just brief us about yourself? Tell us about yourself.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Olakunle Stephen Ayeni. I love to address myself as the most recent graduate of Department of Biochemistry, Federal University of Technology, Akure. I'm passionate about transformative leadership, and I love to, make my voice heard through creative writing and oratory. So that summarizes my essence and what I stand for. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the introduction. Okay. The next question I want to ask you comes from we having to understand that when we talk about leadership, before a person can be called a leader, the person needs to have certain mindset. Or maybe when the person is trying to get into a position, there's a kind of mindset that the person actually needs to build before he can actually effectively lead as a leader. Now, you were the president of MFMC FUTA, as we all know, and I just want you to tell us about how you were able to, build that mindset when you were made the president, such that you were able to lead effectively.
All right. So thank you very much for that amazing question. So when I received the baiting of leadership to serve as the president of Mountain of Fire and Miracles Campus Fellowship, I knew that this was going to be a very different ball game, and it required a different mindset. And first is because I understood that the fellowship has a track record of excellence, and there is a standard that this fellowship is known for. So that was the first mindset that I had, that okay, this particular leadership position I've taken now, it requires me to keep the standard and even make it get higher. And the second mindset I was able to sustain is that I understood that serving as a leader in that kind of stage is also an avenue to transform people, to shape mindset of people. And if I'm going to shape the mindset of people, my mindset also has to be shaped. So, the period of waiting, between when I was handed over to and when the school was going to resume, I made sure that I invested in shaping my mindset, because I knew it was going to be a very, very different experience, having to talk to people consistently for over a year and impart my knowledge through the help of God, on people. So that the mindset is that, okay, this is a different ball game. I need to step up with my mindset before I can impart other people's mindsets. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for the response. All right. There is no position that does not come with its own challenges, obstacles, and situations, issues. All right. So can you tell us maybe one or two of the challenges you faced and how you were able to overcome them?
The first challenge I faced was having to step into that position. It's at the early stage of my leadership as president. I struggled to see myself, to picture myself being the president. There are some times that I would do something, I would just remember, oh, I'm a leader here. So that was the first challenge, for me. I mean, I don't know if it's a general challenge for people, but it was something I struggled with at the beginning. You as a leader, you need to create boundaries. The way you talk will be different. The way you carry yourself will be different. So that was more like a challenge, for me. Then later on, I discovered that another challenge that I had was not trying to be overzealous with some stuffs. I discovered that as a leader, you have to be able to calm down and understand the pace at which the people you are working with want to move with. Because if you as a leader, if you are not able to embrace that, okay, there are people that can move at different pace.
Yes.
You might struggle in leading people. So, but later I was able to work on it. I understood my people. Okay, person can work at this pace. This person can work at this pace. Okay, how can I integrate all these people together? So it was more of a challenge, for me, but I was able to overcome it.
All right. Thank you very much for the response. Okay, so can you tell us what what you would say your proudest moment was as a president?
Okay, my proudest moment as president, I think that was when I handed over. I handed over to the next person. It's always a beautiful thing that continuity, stands in any organization that you are leading. So when I handed over to the next person, I was very, very proud of myself because having to complete a tenure, then finding somebody to hand the burden over to was a very proud moment. Then let me try to find another. I think when the fellowship celebrated its 25th year anniversary, I never believed that it was a coincidence, to be the president when the fellowship was going to be celebrating the anniversary. So it was a proud moment for me that, oh, wow, a fellowship as big as this, I'm the president at this particular time. It was a very proud moment for me.
All right. Thank you so much for the response. When we lead with the mindset that, okay, we are managing people with different mindsets, different opinions, people that were raised in different settings and environments. All right. And that actually means that everybody cannot reason the same way. Everybody has certain ideologies that are different from another person. So how were you able to, manage the differences of every persons that you worked with, the executives, the centrals? How were you able to manage them?
All right. So I attended a conference, Period Pointers Leadership Conference 1.0. And I remember that one of the speakers said that leadership is you creating an environment for everyone to thrive. I remember that, from one of the speakers. And that was what actually helped me when I was serving. As you said, that it's very, very true that you work with people with different ideologies, people with different mindset, people with different, temperament, different people. And how I was able to manage it is that first, understanding that everyone is different. You need to have that understanding that not everybody is going to give you that particular thing that you want at the same time, the same way.
Yes.
So the understanding of that, okay, I'm going to be working with people with different ideologies. That mental preparation for me helped me. Then the second approach to that is that when you understand that ideologies, when you look for a way to integrate it, can be good in long run, because when you get idea from this person is coming from another standpoint, this person is coming from another perspective. If you can work together, diversity of knowledge, it can help you to bring out something very, very achievable. And at a point I discovered that, okay, I can actually use this to my advantage. Because if this person is, all of us came from different backgrounds, different families, and we had different experiences. So if this person is coming with a particular experience, this person is coming with an, it is my role as a leader to know how to integrate all these ideologies. And understanding that really helped me. It really helped me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. One thing I usually do whenever I am working with a team of people, and then maybe we have to make a particular decision, and I understand that everybody will want to feel seen, feel valued, and all
Yeah.
that, and considering the fact that everybody cannot also reason the same way. So I ask questions that, what do you think we can do? I allow people to say their own opinions, give their own thoughts, say whatever they feel we can do. Then I try to bring everything together and try to find a common ground based on what everybody has said. And at the end of the day, everybody will agree, and it's actually makes everything work because they were able to say their own opinion, and in a way, with the way I will bring the ideas to them, it will look as though their opinions were also counted into the final decision that was made. So I believe that actually works very well. It is very easy to see different content on leadership everywhere: short videos, quotes, podcasts, and books. But I've come to realize something. Consuming content is not the same as growing as a leader. Because while these contents can inspire you, it takes building structure to truly learn, grow, and become an effective leader. Motivation can only help you to start a journey, but what will keep you going are the set of structures you put in place to make things moving, whether you are motivated or not. Most of the general leadership contents that we see today, they are not in-depth enough to teach you the practical side of leadership, the kind that actually helps you to develop the skills, the discipline, and the right mindset to actually lead. And that is why I have decided to start something different, something that will help you to develop the skills that are necessary for you to develop. Welcome to the Beyond Pointers community, a space where we don't just talk about leadership, we live it, we learn it, and we grow into it together. Here, we will read and review powerful leadership books, set meaningful goals, dive into Bible studies that shape our values, and also discuss real-world problems and develop solutions that provide impact to these problems. It is more than just a community. It is a movement, growth, depth, and transformation. And the best part of it is that it is absolutely free and open to everyone. So whether you are just curious about leadership or you're already on your journey to becoming a better leader, it doesn't matter. It is open for everyone so far you are interested in leadership. So if you are ready to grow beyond surface level motivation, if you are ready to truly understand what it means to lead and make impact, then this is for you. So click on the link below to join the Beyond Pointers community today and register. Let's build ourselves to become global leaders that solve global problems. Now, to the next question, what approach did you use to make sure that people that you worked with seem valued and seen?
All right. So I worked with 31 executive, but I had an inner circle of 6 people. And one thing I discovered is that everyone wants to be appreciated. Everyone wants to be valued.
Yes.
No one wants to, want to be maxed off. So you need to understand that in every little way, look for a way to appreciate the little effort of the people you are working with. Even if the person is struggling, you should be able to find one particular thing that the person is doing well, and you can say, oh, yes, you are doing this well. And if you can do this well, that means that you can do better.
Yes.
You can do a greater task if you are well tutored, if you are well mentored. So one of the approach that I use is that, or one big approach that I use is that and I still use it even till now, is that when I'm working with people, I'm able to, spot one particular beautiful thing they are doing well, and I can appreciate it. You are doing well. Then I will use that, to charge you that, okay, if you can do this, then you can do something bigger. You can do something greater. And that I believe that every leadership opportunity, every role that you are given is an avenue to build you for something bigger. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Just like you said, everybody wants to be appreciated. Everybody wants to be seen.
Yeah.
And it is very important when it comes to inclusion, it is very important that as a leader, you try to make sure that people actually seem valued,
Exactly.
that their opinions count, that okay, whatever I'm trying to say, my involvement or my input actually counts. And that is the role of the leader, to actually make sure that every single person in the team actually feels this way.
Appreciated.
Yes, they feel appreciated. All right. So to the next question. So what are the habits that you implemented maybe over the years, and even when you were the president, that helped you to stay consistent as a leader that you were meant to be?
All right. So talking of habits now, there are some times that leadership might seem tough. There are times that you will set goals and you won't achieve them. There are times that you'll be frustrated by the results that even come. And yes, I had those moments. But one big habit that kept me running and consistent was meditation, reflection, and let me say self-assessment. There are some times that I just try to seclude myself from the people I am leading, and I just, meditate, have my own silent environment where I can, calm down, think about, okay, what am I not doing well? What went wrong? Okay, I can encourage myself just like David encouraged himself in the Lord, right?
Yeah.
I can encourage myself, okay, if I could do this, then that means that I can do better. Okay, how can when you meditation is a very big thing, because when you do it well, when you meditate well, ideas come. When you have your own, safe space, you are able to reflect on your failures, on your successes, and that was just, an icing on the cake for me, meditation. Then another habit is reaching out. Reaching out. I believe that every leader should have somebody he looks up to, somebody that you can look up to, and when you reach out to somebody you look up to, I believe that that person has a wealth of experience that you can learn from. I believe that when you have a mentor, when you have somebody that you can talk to, if you're a pastor and probably a spiritual father that has passed through the same, challenge that you are currently facing, it also helps. So there were a lot of times where I had to reach out to, my predecessor. I had to reach out to my parents, my siblings, to just, give me that sense of assurance that, okay, I am still in the game. I can still do well. I am still active. I am still sane. My sanity is still intact. So
Yes.
it's always very important that you're able to fall back to somebody.
All right. Thank you so much for the response. One other thing I would just say that I also do. Well, I'm going to start with the aspect of meditation.
Yeah.
I actually see meditation as a very big deal. And the reason is because the meditation is very powerful, but a lot of people actually find it difficult to do. Why? Because there are several distractions here and there.
Exactly.
People are not focused. But then it is in the place of meditation that one even get ideas to do big things and all of that, even beyond the scope of trying to find out your fault and every other thing. So meditation is actually very good. And then the reflection too. Reflection is something that every leader should practice. It is something that should be part of every leader, because reflection helps you to check for the things that you did wrong. It helps you to filter out the things that you are not supposed to do, and helps you to make better decisions for what you are going to be doing moving forward. And then the last thing I'm just going to be mentioning is feedbacks from people that you lead. You ask questions. Okay, what do you think I am doing wrong? What do you think I am not doing better? What do you think I can do as a leader? What do you think I can do effectively to lead you? Feedbacks from people that you lead, feedbacks from people that you work with, and also feedback from your mentors, people that are actually looking at you from afar, from above. All right. Thank you so much for the response.
You're welcome.
All right. So moving on to the next question.
All right.
I want us to talk about self-leadership. So can you just tell us what you understand by self-leadership and how it has actually helped you to effectively lead?
All right. So, what I understand about self leadership is how well you are able to lead yourself, how well you're able to make decisions for your own self, for your own personal growth, how you are able to, filter out things that are harmful to your well-being, your personality. Let me just share this experience. When I was in 100 level to I think 100 level to 300 level now, I never believed that, okay, I never knew that it is even possible to train yourself in the area of aspect of leadership. I never knew that leadership can actually be learned. And I thought that being in FUTA is just academics, just, be doing your academic stuff. I never knew that there were leadership conferences. In fact, when I heard about Beyond Pointers Leadership Conference, I heard about LinkedIn Akure that Boluwatife wrote to me. I was like, so people can actually go to these places. Like, we can actually learn as a student, learn leadership. I was like, wow. So before, I never knew that you could, as a person, make a decision to train yourself as a leader. So when I took that decision that, okay, I'm going to train myself, I can learn leadership, I can learn it. Then I said I was going to be going to conferences, I was going to be reading books. I remember there was a time I also came to meet you that, okay, I want to open a LinkedIn account. Then you taught me how to go about it. So I believe that self-leadership has to do with you making decisions, life-changing decisions, decisions that can change your life, decisions that can, make or mar you. You have to be able to, sit down, reflect on what works for you. You have to be able to lead yourself, because if you have issues leading yourself, you definitely have issues leading other people. So that's my idea about self-leadership, ability to, sit down, reflect what works for you. How can I achieve my goal? How can I, the vision that I have as a person in the next 5-10 years, I can now actualize it. So that's self-leadership for me.
All right, thank you so much, sir. I had a session with one of our speakers some months ago, and then one of the things that he said in the session that I actually held with my left hand was that when we talk about leadership should be about our lives in general. We should not see leadership as a different part of our lives, or maybe something that is different. Maybe, for example, you have the academic life, you have the maybe relationship life, but then we should see leadership as something that we do every day, because every single thing about our lives has to do with leadership. But then it is something that a lot of people do not know, because the fact that you have to make a decision to do something is leadership. The fact that you have to talk to yourself that, oh, I have to be disciplined to ensure that I do this particular thing, I take this particular course from start to finish is leadership. The fact that I have to ensure that I build my communication skills is leadership. So everything about our lives, so far we want positivity, we want to grow, has to do with leadership. So leadership should not be something that we put aside or that we learn differently. It should be.
I think you talked about it during BPLC 1.0, how that leadership, it can be, you can view leadership from different aspect of your life.
Yes.
It should not be sectionalized.
Yes.
If you are going to class, you are going there to lead. Even having to wake up and make decision that I'm going to class is leadership, because leadership has to do with making quality decisions. Exactly. So I remember that you made that statement. And even the video that was released ahead of BPLC 1.0, I really, admire that video, because it captured what leadership, is. That's very, very impressive.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Now, moving on to the next question. So I actually want to talk about the aspect of, being a student and also having to lead. So being able to balance the two together, having to balance academics and also leadership activities and services. So in your own case, how were you able to balance being a student, and also, I think most people do not know, you were also the class rep for your department. All right. So how were you able to balance all of these activities and you were still excellent in everything?
All right. So, there's an Indian story to that. I remember that when I entered 100 level, I had to meet with, and this is still one of the reasons why you have to reach out to people. I reached out to a man called Olaboyede Shegun. I think he's the host of Make It Make Sense with Shegun. He was also the class rep of my department. And I asked him, I said, you are a class rep and you are also a first class student. How are you doing it? Then he told me that even himself, he was also looking up to somebody that was class rep and also wrote a first class. So I noticed that change that, okay, this person was looking up to somebody. Okay, what if I look up to this man? I can be class rep. I can also be excellent. So looking up to somebody that is doing exactly what you are doing well, it actually works for me. It works for me. All right. So how I was able to balance it is that, just as you said some moment ago, that you should not sectionalize leadership, that okay, there's academic life, there is also leadership life. No, I had this mentality that even in my academics, making quality decisions about academics is also leadership.
Yes.
And one thing I discovered about leadership is that leadership gives you a new mindset. You know that you are not just a leader, but also an influencer. I know that, okay, the people I'm leading are looking up to me, just as I was looking up to Olabuye Deshagun. And that consciousness gave me a new mindset. That, okay, if I can be looking up to somebody, that means that some people are also looking up to me.
Yes.
And if people are looking up to me, it's not going to put me under pressure. It's just going to motivate me to do well in my academics and leadership. There is someone somewhere, maybe that person does not even have the courage to meet you yet, but that person is learning from afar that, okay, how is this person balancing it? How is this person doing it? And that consciousness alone can make you excellent in whatever you are doing, that I am influencing. And even as a Christian, you have that mindset that, okay, you are accountable to God, and God is an excellent God. God has a very, very amazing standard. And if you know that you are accountable to God, you know that you have to be excellent in everything you do. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for the response. Okay. So another question relating to this academics and then balancing it. So, what advice will you as a top student in your department now, what advice would you say you want to give to somebody that is aspiring to become the top student in his or her department?
All right. So the advice is clear. Know what you want. No, you need to know why you want to be the top student. I feel like that's a question that most people don't ask themselves. That why do I want to be the top student? To what end? When I was aspiring to be among the top students in my department, I told myself, okay, I want to be the top student because I want to influence people. I want to be the top student because I want to give glory to God. I want to be the top student because I want to leave a mark. I want people to know that, okay, you can serve God and still be excellent.
Yes.
So don't just aspire to be the top student because you want to have the name for yourself. So to anyone aspiring to be a top student in the department, know what drives you. Do you understand me? Know what drives you. Why do you want to be the top student? And you have to work it out. You must have faith that you can do it, and you must work it out. You have resources that can help you. You have people around you that you can, always reach out to. You have books that you can read that will help you get there. I understand that the world is a competitive place. There are a lot of people that are chasing after what you are chasing. Do you understand me? In fact, I was MFM campus president. There are also powers, principalities, strongholds. I don't want you to get there. So all these elements, you as a person, you want to chase after something, you need to be able to, know how to pull down stronghold of the mind, spiritual stronghold of your environment, because where you came from can also affect your mindset. Your background can, there are some people that probably in their family, excellence is not even waiting.
Yes.
Like, it's not even something that is appreciated. Whether you go home with last position, nobody would scold you. Do you understand me? So if you are that kind of person that you came from that background and you came here, you feel like, okay, I want to be the top student, you need to transform your mind. And how do you transform your mind? By filling up yourself with positive information. And positive information is everywhere. Just as we have negative information online, you can also get positive information online. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for the response. Two things that I picked from what you said. Number one is that you have to have a very strong why. Why do you want to be the top student? I believe having a strong why actually help in solving so many problems, because the reason why some people will do a thing and then at the end of the day, they are not actually successful, or they will end up not getting what they want, is because they don't have a very strong reason. And then maybe when something happens along the line, they just give up and that is just the end. So having a strong why is very important. And then number two is mindset. You need to have the mindset of excellence, the mindset of somebody that wants to become a top student, because it is the mindset that will help you in selecting the things to do, in making decisions. Okay, I have to read by this particular time. I have to do this. I have to do that. These are the things I'm supposed to do. These are the things I'm not supposed to do. This is the level to which I'm supposed to read. This is the level to which I'm supposed to put in so much work and all of that. So thank you so much for that response. So the last question surrounding academics I want to ask. Now, when it comes to maybe somebody that is probably in a leadership position and then the person is having issues academically, so how do you think the person can try to maneuver his way to make everything balanced and still have that excellence?
Okay. So I believe that first, as a leader, and if you're a leader and you discover that you're having issues with your academics, you need to know that leadership can never be the reason why your academics is struggling.
True.
You have to, take that out of it. It can never, whether it is a fellowship or anywhere, it's because you are not doing something right. You can actually balance the two. And because many of us used to have this mindset that, okay, it is because I am leading, that is why my academics is not doing fine. That means you're already sectionalizing leadership life from academic life. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So you need to have that mindset that leadership can never be the reason. But if peradventure you are, noticing that it is taking your time, then you have to go back to the drawing board and know your priorities, set boundaries. And that is why as a leader, you need to be able to, delegate tasks to people. Don't overburden yourself. You are a leader. Leadership has three aspects: planning, coordinating, and overseeing. You should be able to plan well, you should be able to coordinate, and you should be able to oversee. So many of us, many leaders know how to plan, they know how to coordinate, but they don't know how to oversee. They always want to be there. You should be able to sit back and watch people doing it. Then you can always tell them, okay, do it like this. So if you are a leader and you are discovering that, you are noticing that your academics is not going well, I would just suggest that you go back to the drawing board, know your priorities, don't overburden yourself, delegate tasks to people, create time for yourself, rest too, because the part of resting, many of the leaders don't pay attention. You have to be able to have your own, resting time where you can rest, you can enjoy yourself, you can eat well. These are the elements that combine to make you an excellent, individual. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for the response. I lived with you, or we are living together for quite a number of months now, and I have observed you, and everything I have been able to observe about you actually shows that the fact that you are a top student in your department means that you actually did the work to get it done. It did not come by luck, it did not come by magic, or maybe by, of course, prayer plays an important role, but then the hard work actually pays a lot. And that is the fact that you are able to balance, you're able to set boundaries, you're able to know when to do this and when to do that. You're able to know that, okay, this is the time for me to pay attention to my academics. You're able to maximize prioritization in everything that you do.
Yeah.
Because I know that, when it is time for you to read, you take the reading very serious. When it is time for you to carry out fellowship activities, you carry it out also. And you were able to balance everything such that you're able to get the results that you wanted. So it is something that everybody should ensure that they put into consideration, put in the work. Of course, you are a leader, and we understand that there are several responsibilities, there are things that you have to do, but then you know that there are also other things that you need to focus on. So you need to ensure that you know how to balance it. Being able to balance the things that you do is also a quality of a good leader. If you're a leader and then one of the things that you are into is suffering for another, that means it shows that you don't have everything that it takes to be called a leader. Because as a leader, you should be able to plan yourself so well that you can balance everything and then maximize excellence. All right. So to my next question.
Yeah.
So how were you able to balance your emotional state, physical state, spiritual state, while all through when you were the president?
All right. So I believe this is a conversation. I want to throw a question. It's not like me asking you a question,
Okay.
but somebody asked me a question recently that is it possible to be a complete leader? like for you to be complete without flaws. I leave it to ponder on. That's why I continue. All right. So how was I able to balance all this physical state, emotional states, and the thing is that most times we wait till we get to that leadership position before we start working on these things. And I have discovered that the best of followers make the best of leaders. If as a follower you are battling with emotions, when you become a leader, you will still battle with emotions. So what I did is that when I was still, subjective to is this subjective now? When I was still accountable to other leaders, people that I was following before I became president, I made sure that, okay, my emotions, I studied emotional intelligence, I studied how to be physically fit for all these leadership stuff. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So now, me, I'm trying to, speak to a follower now that, in that stage, when you've not started leading, it is very important that you learn all these things even as a follower, because you must understand that the best of followers make the best of leaders. So for a leader, you must understand that every single thing you do as a leader counts. If you are not emotionally sound, it is going to affect the way you lead people.
Yes.
So it is possible that as a leader you are struggling with these stuff physically, emotionally, but you must understand that you are a leader now. You are a leader. Nobody wants to follow a weak leader.
Yes.
Nobody wants to follow an emotionally weak leader. Nobody wants to follow a physically weak leader. And that consciousness alone can take you back to the drawing board that I am now a leader. I need to work on these things. So it's just consciousness. Be conscious. Be conscious that you have to be fit as a leader, fit to make decisions, fit to correct people, fit to see people, doing the things you ask them to do. It is very important.
All right. Thank you very much for the response. When it comes to, in my own opinion, when it comes to having to balance all of these things, it actually starts from understanding yourself. Self-awareness plays a very important role in balancing all of these things, because when you know yourself so well that, okay, this is the limit to which I can actually take some things, this is the limit to which I can actually withstand some things, you know when to draw back, you know when to push forward, you know when to do this, you know when to do that. So I believe that as a leader, it is important that you understand yourself first. And that is why, if we talk about self-awareness, one of the key factors in self-awareness is when we talk about self-leadership, one of the key factors of self-leadership is self-awareness. That you can actually understand yourself. So even before you become or even before you get into a leadership position, just like you said, that you spoke about having to understand emotions, your emotions and every other thing, learning all of these things, all right? So you would have understood all of these things about yourself, and you already know the limits to which you can actually withstand things. And if it requires you learning, you learn. If it requires you improving yourself, you improve yourself. So thank you so much for the response.
Thank you.
Okay, now to the next question. So what did leadership teach you about yourself?
So leadership taught me that there's a lot of work to do. There is a lot of work to do. And I'm being honest now. Leadership exposes yourself to yourself. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it exposes you. Like you cannot hide yourself for long if you're a leader.
Yes.
There are many times that I will do something. I'll be like, oh, I just did this. I never knew that I had this tendency to do this. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So one thing that leadership taught me about myself is that there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot. So that alone is one big thing that I can take out from leadership, that if you are leading, you will always see something to work on till you get to that. I talked about being a complete leader the other time. I believe that you can actually be a complete leader. And it starts with working on yourself over and over again, renewing your mind, supplying your mind with positive information. So that was one thing that leadership exposed about myself, that I have a lot of things to learn. And I believe we will get there.
Yes, we will get there. All right. So can you tell us what do you think is the impact, or what are the impacts that you believe your leadership has had on people?
All right. So first, possibility. I believe that the people that I led or that I still lead, when they, hear my story, when they see what God was able to do through me, they believe that okay, some things are possible. When I was announced as I was a top student in my department, somebody entered my DM and told me that that I just made her know that some things are possible. It is possible for you to be a leader and also be excellent in your academics. So I believe that possibility, people believe that, okay, this thing is possible. You can lead and still be excellent. You can make God proud in everything you are doing. Then the second one is that when I was leading, I was always, hammering on the fact that structure determines function. I learned that in biochemistry, that the structure determines the function. So I always tell people that every flaw that you see in any organization, most of these flaws are structural. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So if you can know the structural root of any problem you are facing in your organization, you can trash it. So I tell people anything that will, affect the structure of the fellowship, that will affect the structure of your organization, you must always make sure that you take it out of the way. The structure of the fellowship must be kept. The structure of the organization must be kept. The structure of your association must be kept, because structure you always determine the function. Yes. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for the response. All right. So you served as the president for about a year. So what legacy would you say you left behind?
All right. So the legacy I would say I left behind, it's still, very, very related to what I talked about, is consciousness of the structure. Consciousness of the structure. I believe that I was able to pass that down to people that I led, that always remember that this place, there's a structure in place. There's a way things ought to be done. The way things are done, things are done in Nigeria is different from the way things are done in the United States of America. The way things are done in US is different from how it is done in Canada. So you have to understand the principles, the laws that govern where you are leading, that governs where you are a follower. So when you understand that, okay, the structure of this place is what is keeping this place running by the help of God, then you understand that you're not going to play with that structure. I believe I was able to pass that down to people. Always remember the structure. Even in your academics, create structures. In leadership, create structures. Finances, create structures. And I believe I was able to pass that down to an extent. And I believe that the person I handed over to will also, share this vision with the people.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So to the last question that I'll be asking, and it is a general question I ask everybody that come on this podcast to speak, which is, what advice or advices do you have for aspiring leaders or people that are in a position already, but then they have issues with some things? And what advice do you have for people generally, or
right.
leaders?
Thank you very much. So my advice to everyone listening to me, to aspiring leaders, is that you can solve global problems. You can solve global problems. The world is filled with problems. When there's no way you will sit, reflect, and you will not see a particular global problem. And those problems are waiting you to solve them. The scripture says that creation waits, for the manifestations of the sons of God. So when you look around, you see problems around you, you see global issues that await us, that await leaders. So whatever you are doing, whether you are selling, whether you are being sold to, whether you are a student, whether you just entered into the university, whatever category you can find yourself, always know that there is a problem to solve. And leaders solve problems. They don't create problems. Other people can be talking about the problems, but as a leader, you don't just talk about the problems, you solve the problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. All right. So one thing I would just like to add to it is everybody listening to see possibilities in impossibilities. Every single thing is possible. It doesn't matter how it might look. Everything is possible. So far you put in the work, so far you do whatever you have to do, and then you believe, Emphasis on believing in your ability to get it done. Then you are going to get it done. And there's one thing I also believe and wish is that great things can happen from a small place.
Exactly.
Everybody that you see that is big now did not start as a big person. They started small and then they became big. So the same thing can also happen to you. Thank you so much. So we have come to the end of this wonderful episode, and I believe that you learned a lot from our speaker, from our leader here, and I also did. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's an honor.
Really appreciate it, sir. All right, so if you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section, and you can also reach out to me. I am readily available. All right, thank you so much for listening. See you the next time.